Welcome back to Inherited Dawn, a One Piece podcast. We are breaking down chapter 1137, and I am still trying to pick my jaw up off the floor. I mean, seriously, I think I need a new cyborg jaw after this one. Mine has been permanently unhinged.
This chapter was dense. Just when we thought we were settling into the lore of Elbaph, the story just pulls the rug out from under us. It was a masterclass in pacing, moving from historical world building to an earth-shattering present-day reveal.
Pulls the rug out? Robin, the story threw the whole house into a volcano. It nuked the entire neighborhood from orbit. We have to start at the end. We just have to. I can't wait. A new Figarland family, a commander of the Gods Knights, Gartling's son, and he looks just like Shanks. Are you kidding me?
It's the confirmation we've been waiting for, and yet it raises more questions than it answers. The world government isn't just interested in Elbaph as a potential military asset. They are actively trying to subjugate it from within. And they're using one of the most powerful families in the world, the family that stands at the very top, to do it.
I swear, if you are not subscribed to this podcast for the Figarland family drama alone, you are missing out on the peak of fiction. This is like a royal succession drama mixed with a spy thriller and a shonen battle manga. It's everything. Hit that button because we are going to be talking about this for months. Now let's get into it from the top before my circuits completely overload.
Let's. It begins with Luffy, Zoro, and Nami being led to Aurust Castle by Road. This is the seat of the former king of Elbaph.
Right, the castle of the dead king, Harald, and immediately something is off. Road, who hasn't been there in over a decade, says something's wrong. No one's been here for 14 years, but the gate is busted, and there are no guards. You expect this epic guarded fortress, and instead it's just silent. It's creepy.
The silence is the first clue. Elbaph is a land of boisterous, proud warriors. For a place like their central castle to be dead silent is deeply unnatural. And then Zoro, ever the swordsman, ever the observer of battlefields, makes the crucial distinction.
My man Zoro, sharp as ever, points out the gate was broken from the inside. That's a huge detail. It's not a siege, it's a jailbreak.
It immediately changes the narrative from an external attack to an internal conflict. It wasn't an invasion by an outside force. It was an escape, a betrayal, or something trying to get out. It frames the entire tour of this castle as a crime scene investigation, not just a history lesson.
But of course, Luffy doesn't care about any of that. He hears spooky abandoned castle and his brain just translates that to adventure. He just charges right in, no questions asked. I love that he never changes.
It's his greatest strength. He cuts through the tension and just moves the plot forward with pure, unfiltered curiosity.
That's our captain, and man, the double-page spread of the castle interior, it is huge. So big, Nami says they can't even walk it. They'd be there for days. So Road just scoops them all up and starts carrying them. A giant carrying 2 pirates and a navigator like they're groceries. I love it. It's such a perfect One Piece moment of whimsy right before the dread sets in.
The sense of scale is incredible. It really makes you feel how small an ordinary human is in this place. As they walk, they see more destruction. Pillars shattered, walls caved in. Road explains it was all from the fight between King Harald and Prince Loki. He uses a very specific phrase, saying the level of damage was inevitable.
Inevitable? A father and son fighting and destroying a castle is not inevitable. That is a tragedy. That word choice is so cold. It's like he's saying when 2 forces like this collide, this is the only possible outcome. What went down here? What kind of power are we talking about?
We start to get a picture of it in the next room, and what a horrifying panel. Piles of giant skeletons, just bones everywhere, skulls the size of small houses, rib cages you could walk through, and they're all wearing the armor of Elbaph.
No way. It looked like the aftermath of a Buster call, and Road just drops the lore bomb with this heavy, somber tone. Loki killed over 100 of his own soldiers, the Elbaph Royal Guard, his own men. The only survivors of the battle were Loki himself and another giant named Jarl. 100 giants. A prince just wiped out his own army.
This isn't just a powerful prince winning a duel. 100 giants is a formidable military force. We saw what just one of them could do at Enni's lobby. For Loki to have them all down, along with his father, the king, paints him as an absolute monster. It reframes the entire conflict. This wasn't a noble duel over succession. It was a massacre.
It makes you wonder why. Why would his own men be fighting him? Were they protecting the king? Did he just go berserk? And where is this other survivor, Jarl? He's a loose end, a witness to whatever really happened. The castle has been a tomb ever since, sealed off, a monument to this tragedy.
It sets an incredibly dark tone for the royal family of Elbaph. This kingdom, built on honor and warrior pride, has a foundation of patricide and slaughter.
That's insane. And then Luffy, being Luffy, in the middle of this bone-chilling tomb, spots a skull with giant horns and is like, hey, that looks like Oars. He has zero sense of atmosphere, and it's perfect.
It is, because his simple, almost childish observation is the perfect segue for Road to deliver the next piece of lore. He confirms Luffy's suspicion. He explains that some giants, like Oars, have the blood of ancient giants. He says no pure-blooded ones exist anymore, but the lineage continues through descendants.
Oars was an ancient giant. We've known he was a different kind of giant, a continent puller, but now we have a name for it. It's a whole subspecies. That's so cool. It connects Thrillerbark and Marineford directly to the core lore of Elbaph. This is some amazing story weaving from hundreds of chapters ago. And then Rhodes says the king, Harald, also had that blood. He had horns just like Oars.
But he tore them out. He didn't just hide them or file them down. He ripped his own horns from his skull. Rhodes says he did it because he considered them a relic of the era of wars and wanted to connect Elbaph to the outside world.
Wait, what? He just tore them out? That is the most metal thing I have ever heard. Can you imagine the sheer willpower? The symbolism. That's a king right there, making a statement not with words, but literally physically mutilating himself to prove his conviction. That's super hardcore.
It speaks volumes about his philosophy. He saw this ancient heritage, this symbol of immense power and a history of conquest, as a shackle. It was something holding his people back from progress and peace. He wanted to usher in a new era for Elbaph, one of connection and diplomacy, not of war and isolation.
It reminds me of Godin wanting to open Wano's borders. It's the same kind of progressive thinking that clashes with a deeply traditional warrior-based society. It's like he was saying, our strength is not in our horns, not in our ancient past, but in our future.
Precisely. And in that context, the conflict with his son becomes much clearer. Then we see a portrait of Prince Loki, and he has his horns. He embraces that heritage.
So the conflict was probably about the future of Elbaph, the old way versus the new way, tradition versus progress. Loki, with his horns, represents the era of wars, the idea that giant strength is meant to dominate. Harald, without them, represents a new path, and that ideological difference tore the kingdom apart.
A classic ideological clash between father and son, just on a giant castle-destroying scale. But the family drama doesn't stop there.
Oh, it doesn't even slow down. This is where it gets even crazier. Rhodes says the person who hates Loki the most for killing the king is Hajrudin.
And Nami's reaction is all of us. She's completely shocked, her eyes bugging out. She says, Hajrudin? Our Hajrudin?
Because they're brothers. Loki and Hajrudin are the king's sons. Our guy Hajrudin, the 6th captain of the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, is a prince of Elbaph. I lost it. I literally stood up and started pacing around my room. It reframes everything about him. His quest to become king of the giants wasn't just some vague ambition. It's a legitimate claim to the throne.
Half-brothers, to be precise. And this is where the idyllic image of Elbaph, the land of honor, begins to completely crumble. Rhodes clarifies that Hajrudin's mother wasn't the queen. She was a giant woman from another kingdom, a different tribe.
And the other giants didn't accept her. They called her blood tainted. Tainted? Are you kidding me? Nami calls them out on it immediately, saying how discriminatory that is. You go, Nami. That's my navigator.
It's a theme that comes up again and again. Fishman Island, the Minks, the Lunarians, even the supposedly noble, honorable races have their deep-seated prejudices. Elbaph's code of honor is built on a foundation of blood purity, a concept that is inherently dishonorable. It's a profound hypocrisy at the heart of their culture.
So that's why Hajrudin left. He wasn't just some mercenary. He was a prince in exile, an outcast in his own home, probably looked down on his whole life. Zoro even asks Road a really pointed question. If that's your culture, why would you serve someone with dirtied blood? That's a cold question, but a fair one given what we just learned.
And Road's answer is the heart of the chapter, I think. This is where the true message shines through. We get a small flashback. It shows a young Road, a nerdy little giant kid, getting picked on by other giants for drawing maps instead of fighting, and a young Hajrudin steps in.
Man, that flashback hit me right in the soul. Hajrudin, the one who was being ostracized for his very existence, for something he couldn't control, didn't turn that bitterness outward. He saw another kid being bullied for being different, and he stood up for him. He offered to be his friend.
He saw value in Road's passion for cartography, something the other warrior giants scorned. He saw the person, not the label. This is the quality of a true leader.
That's a true king right there. I don't care what his blood is. He endured all that prejudice, and his first instinct was to protect someone else from it. That's straw hat material right there. That's why he's part of our fleet.
And then Hajrudin proclaims his dream to Road, not just to be strong, but to unite all the different giant tribes of the world, the ones from the north, the ones from the south, all of them, and become their king.
He wants to break the whole system down, the very system that rejected him and his mom. He doesn't want to rule the Elbaph that exists. He wants to build a new, better kingdom for all giants. He wants to bring everyone together. That's a Luffy-level dream. It's not about domination, it's about unification. And Rhodes saw that honesty, that pure ambition in him, and pledged his life and his maps to help him achieve it. I'm so hyped for Hajrudin right now.
It completely recontextualizes his journey, his time as a mercenary for Buggy, his fight in the Dressrosa Coliseum. He wasn't just looking for strength's sake. He was building his own legend, forging his own path to a throne he was denied at birth. He's trying to earn what his brother Loki inherited.
And then, as Road is finishing this incredibly moving story, Luffy, of course, cuts right through the moment. He spots something. Some giants just lying on the ground up ahead. We don't see who, but that can't be good. The ominous feeling is back.
No, it can't be. The transition is jarring. And then the scene shifts hard. We are no longer at the castle.
We cut to a place just labeled the underworld, wherever that is, and Loki is chained. The prince himself. He's in this dark dungeon-like room, and he's being attacked by this woman, Gunko. And her devil fruit is wild, the Aro no Mi, the arrow fruit. She generates these ethereal arrows from the fabric of her clothes, but Loki himself deduces, while getting beaten, it's not a simple projectile attack. The arrows themselves don't do damage. They're markers. They signify where her real attacks, her powerful kicks and strikes, are going to land an instant later.
That's a sick ability. It's like a guaranteed hit. It's a homing missile for your own fists. She keeps taunting him, asking him to join them, to accept their offer of divination, but he just keeps refusing. Total defiance, even while he's getting wrecked. He's got that royal pride.
He says he's only taking the beating because he's chained and can't move. It shows he hasn't been broken yet. But her partner, a figure shrouded in a hood, just mocks him, saying it wouldn't matter if he could move. A chilling display of confidence.
Yeah, about that partner. Loki eventually passes out from the beating, and the partner, shrouded in the hood, tells Gunko to stop. He says their message has been sent. He takes off his hood, and my soul left my body. I think I ascended to a higher plane of existence for a second.
Figarland Shamrock. Figarland Shamrock. He's Garling's son, a commander of the Knights of God, and he is a carbon copy of red-haired Shanks. What is happening?
This is it. This is the reveal that changes the entire arc, maybe the entire final saga. The Figarland family is directly involved. They aren't just a legend from God Valley or some distant part of the government. They are active in the field operatives.
Bro, I'm speechless. I'm trying to process this. I was pretty sure Garling might be Shanks' father based on silhouettes and hints. Now we see Garling has another son who looks exactly like Shanks. Is Shanks a Figarland? Is this his twin brother? Is he a clone? Was he the good twin and this is the evil one? My brain is melting.
Forget clones for a moment. That's a whole other rabbit hole. Let's focus on the political implications. A commander of the Gods' Knights is operating secretly in what appears to be a hidden facility on or near Elbaph, and he gives the order, get in touch with Mary Jawaz.
And he says their plan is to bring the giants of Elbaph under the world government's thumb by any means necessary. That's why they're torturing Loki. They're trying to break the prince, force him to bend the knee, and turn him into a puppet ruler for the world government.
It connects everything. The world government has coveted the strength of the giants for centuries. We saw that with the failed gigantification projects at Punk Hazard. Mother Carmel was selling giant children from Elbaph itself. They've always wanted this power, but Elbaph has remained independent and too strong to conquer outright.
So they couldn't invade from the outside, so they're rotting it from the inside. They're staging a coup, using a Figarland, a literal celestial dragon prince of the world. This is super. I have to say it. This is a super reveal. It changes the whole game.
It makes you question everything about Shanks. If this is his family, his blood, if this is the power structure he came from, what is his real game? Why did he give Luffy the hat? Why did he stop the war at Marineford? Why did he meet with the Gorosei?
Is he a rebel? Did he run away from all this tyranny? Or is he part of it in some way we don't understand? The family resemblance is too perfect to be a coincidence. It's not like a distant cousin. They look identical. The story is screaming at us that they are fundamentally linked.
And the name, Shamrock. A shamrock is a three-leaved clover, a symbol of Ireland. It's so close to Shanks's theme. His Jolly Roger has the 3 scars. It's all connected. It's almost poetic. Perhaps Varland had 2 sons, and one stayed loyal, representing the 3 leaves of the holy trinity of the world government, the Gorosei, the Knights, the throne, while the other broke away.
Okay, my head's spinning. I need to take a breath. That ending was just a nuke, an absolute story-altering nuke. We went from a tragic backstory about brothers to an international conspiracy helmed by the secret evil twin of an emperor of the sea. This is One Piece, baby.
It completely overshadowed all the incredible Elbaph lore we got, which was already fantastic. The ancient giants, King Harald's sacrifice, Hajrudin's backstory and dream, all of it was A-tier world building.
And then the story just drops an S-tier, series-defining reveal in the last 2 panels. That's how this series keeps us hooked for over 25 years.
We're going to be eating off this chapter for a while. I can't even imagine all the theories that are going to come from this.
For sure. If you guys have any theories about Shamrock and Shanks, drop them in the comments on our YouTube channel. We have got to talk about this because my mind is just running a million miles an hour. Let's try to channel that into some predictions for next chapter.
I'll start. My first prediction is that we will learn what the offer of divination from Gunko was. I believe her power isn't just about marking attacks. Divination implies seeing the future. I believe she offered to show Loki a vision of a future where Elbaph thrives under the world government's protection, a future of false peace and prosperity, and he refused to even look at it, spitting on their offer.
Ooh, that's good. A propaganda future. Okay, my turn. I predict the giants Luffy saw on the ground are Dory and Broggy. They were the first line of defense, or were investigating the castle, and they ran into Shamrock. He took them down effortlessly to establish his power level and show that not even the legendary heroes of Elbaph are a match for a commander of the Gods' Knights.
That would be a devastating way to establish him as a threat. My second prediction, Figarland Shamrock will directly mention Shanks. Now that the visual link is established, I think we'll get a direct confirmation. He'll either refer to him dismissively as my brother, or perhaps ask Loki something like, "Are you as stubborn as my wayward relative?" forcing the connection and confirming their relationship for the audience.
Oh my god, if he says my brother, the internet will explode. It will break. All right, my second one. Loki is going to break free. Gunko's partner mocked him, saying it wouldn't matter if he was unchained. Loki is going to prove him wrong. We're going to see a flash of that monstrous power they just spent half the chapter building up. He'll shatter his chains, and we'll get a glimpse of why he was able to kill 100 giants and his own father.
I could see that. He has to live up to the monster reputation they just built for him, even if he is an antagonist. My final prediction relates to Gunko and her partner. She's a member of the Manmeyer family. We know there are a lot of powerful, clandestine families in this world. I predict we'll learn the Manmeyers are a family of seers or nobles from a kingdom subjugated by the world government long ago. They sold their loyalty and their unique divination abilities to the celestial dragons in exchange for status, and now they act as special operatives for the Gods' Knights.
A whole family of Future Sight-style users working for the top of the world? That's terrifying. Okay, my last prediction, and it's a big one. The rest of the crew, Usopp, Sanji, Franky, all of them are going to run into another member of the Gods' Knights. I don't think Shamrock is here alone. He's a commander. He brought a squad. The Giants are facing a covert invasion by the most elite force in the entire world.
The full force of the Holy Knights on Elbaph. That would be an all-out war, fought in the shadows. A terrifying prospect.
It's coming. I can feel it. Elbaph is going to be a battlefield, and the Straw Hats are right in the middle of it. And that's all for this week on Inherited Dawn. Man, I need a cola. My energy is spent.
This was one for the history books. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time to break down what will surely be another incredible chapter.